while Reform UK leader Nigel Farage says his party's prospects have improved. Now the pressure on Labour comes as Reform UK continues to build momentum through a series of high-profile defections. Former Conservative Home Secretary Suella Braverman has announced she is joining the party, resigning her Conservative Party membership of 30 years. Speaking at a UK veterans event in London for Reform, Braverman said she would represent her Fareham and Waterville constituency as a Reform UK MP with immediate effect. Her move follows recent defections by senior Conservatives, including Robert Jenrick, and brings the number of Reform UK MPs in the House of Commons to 8 as Nigel Farage's party positions itself as a growing force ahead of upcoming by-elections. Well, to assess the political impact and what happens next, I was earlier joined by our Downing Street correspondent Simon Pusey. Simon, I was reading, I think it was in the Telegraph, that Sir Keir Starmer is willing to invest billions in reform strongholds to stop the takeover. Do you think it's too late?
Yeah, I think it probably is too late. I think the media have for a good year and a half now been talking about reform almost as much as the government, and you don't usually see that. Obviously they are way ahead in the polls of all the other, but they have so few MPs sitting in the House of Commons behind us. I think a lot of people are a bit upset about the amount of coverage they get, but Nigel Farage will be absolutely loving it. And this week we've had yet another defection from the Conservatives.
A big one.
Suella Braverman, who was sacked twice by the government.
Former Home
when she was in the
Secretary.
government. And then the week before that was Robert Jenrick.
Yeah.
Every single week there's another. I think the problem Nigel Farage has got, he's got to pretend that he's anti-establishment. He's not with the establishment. This is going to be a new government. But how can he say this is going to be new with new ideas and they're going to change this around when he's taking all the old people from the old government?
Yeah.
And he's also on record as saying never trust a Tory, and he's taking every single Tory. So I think that's a struggle. But of course, with that brings more publicity every single time. They hold a big press conference, and the media lap it up, and at the moment they're well ahead. I think also the problem is he's got so many very ambitious people. You look at Robert Jenrick especially,
Suella Braverman too.
And yeah, exactly. And
the team's a whole way.
And the leader of the Conservative Party is saying, well, that's not our problem now, talking about Robert Jenrick, because I think he is quite a problematic figure. People know that he wants to be the leader, or wanted to be the leader of the Conservative Party. So, I think it comes with strings attached. I think these people, but at the moment they're sort of running away in the polls, and they are getting more and more people. Big figures, big names coming over to the party.
For our viewers at home, Simon, who only get their British news in sound bites, what's the appeal of reform and what's the fear? And there is a lot of fear, let's be honest. We're seeing what's happening with ICE. There are fears that we could have something similar. But appeal first and then the fear.
I think it's, we've been a two-party system pretty much for many decades. And we've got Labour at the moment. We just had 12 years of Conservatives, and people are sort of fed up and unhappy. If the economy was growing and people were getting richer and wages were going up and prices were going down, I don't think we'd have this issue at the moment. But Reform ostensibly are saying this is a third way, this is a new way, we've got to do things differently.
What's different?
I guess, their main thing is immigration and border control, and that's a drum they've been banging for a long time. And we've just had a summer where the Labour Party pretty much didn't sort of put out any new news, and this vacuum was filled by Reform, who are saying, look at all these small boats crossing, and they're basically linking, an economy that's not growing and wages that are stagnant and growth that's stagnant to foreigners coming over, illegal foreigners, and that is kind of like the situation.
That's
so
them.
I think a lot of people can kind of sort of hear that message, and even though I don't think that's true, that's what a lot of people are, and so I think that is the appeal. It's a new way. Maybe if we stop these illegal immigrants coming over, and getting
Britain
free
will be
hotel
great
spots,
again.
exactly, Britain will, which I think is totally wrong, but that's
Yeah.
the message that seems to be sort of winning at the moment.
But what's
and I
the
think
fear? Yeah.
Well, the fear is, Nigel Farage. We've heard a lot of things about his allegedly racist past at school, things he said, and then the party. There's lots of councillors who've said various things, and they obviously take a hard line on illegal immigration, and have said they're going to set up something similar to ICE, and then we look over to America and see those scenes and people being shot. So I think that's the fear, but it depends who you are and where you live and what your situation is, whether people are willing to accept that as a, that's a consequence of getting reform and trying a new way. And I think a lot of people are ready to try a different party other than Conservatives and Labour, because that hasn't been working for decades for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Very briefly, got to ask about Andy Burnham, Greater Manchester Mayor. May not be familiar with some of our viewers, but very popular in the UK. Blocked this week from running for an MP. Is this going to, come back to haunt Sir Keir Starmer?
Well, I think, he's a very popular man. He's,
Yep.
He's very verbose. He's charismatic. He's from the north, and he's championing the north, and that works.
He's doing quite well up there as well.
Yeah, he's a very popular mayor, and that obviously works well for a lot of people in the north who feel like it is, the UK is too London-centric.
Yeah.
Does just look down here. I think it kind of makes sense in terms of if you're in the establishment, the Labour establishment, to block him, because
Why?
Well, I mean, you'd have a whole series of elections, and it's very uncertain at the moment. Keir Starmer's in for at least another 3 years, and nothing can unseat him really unless his own MPs do, and that would be one thing that